Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Fat Potato Podcast. Today we're going to be dealing with a couple of what-if topics, something a bit more lighthearted. So the first one on the agenda, which is probably going to take the longest, is if you had any superpower, what would it be, why, and what would you use it for?
Alright, so we're going to start off with one, right? And then what's the top one? We'll go around and... Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Alright, my top one doesn't need much explanation. It's not very practical, it's just what I want, which is just functional wings.
Functional wings?
Flight.
I'm very specific, because I know wishes can go wrong if you're not specific about it.
Yes, you got to be very careful there what you wish
You
for.
end up like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and just floating up in the sky.
No,
Okay,
like,
so basically like flight.
like Angel from X-Men, kind of full-on wings.
Like
I don't
metal
care.
wings?
Giant wings?
Giant.
Metal wings or the angel wings?
Giant.
They can just like fold up small.
I don't care.
You don't care?
They can be fucking in the way. I don't care.
Can't even get through
Just
the door.
walk into a room, just walk in the club, it's just like, out of me way.
I just want the wings.
Full spread.
So
as
that's
you
my
just-
very quick answer. It's not practical, it's not really a superpower, but that's what I would
I would
always
say,
go for.
I would say it's not
first.
practical.
Like,
It'd be hard to be late for anything if you could fly.
I had no excuse.
Sleeping in. I mean, it's just not difficult.
How would you sleep?
Not difficult, I'd say.
Wrap yourself in a cocoon of your own wings. Well,
That's
my
right.
one's going to take considerably longer. It starts off as a simple power. It's literally time manipulation. Now the reason I say the reason I say like because I've got two, right? I've got two that I struggle to choose. I'm going to go with my one though because this is I think the strongest one that I like. Now the reason I use the word manipulation is because this particular power doesn't deal with traveling back in time and having to deal with the grandfather paradox or anything else, right? This is all about being able to slow down, stop, speed up, or rewind time, kind of like Prince Persia, The Sands of Time kind of thing.
Nice.
So basically, you can undo an event that's happened, but only within your lifetime, of course, because like you couldn't rewind further than when you were born. But obviously, your mind still stays intact, so you can rewind an event, you remember what happened, and you can do things differently should you choose to. That's sort of the first stage. So I sort of have like 3 stages when it comes to my...
Is this still one power?
What?
Is this still one power? Are you just...
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So,
time manipulation.
so it has like 3 stages, right?
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's literally just time manipulation. You can manipulate time around you.
Okay.
So basically, you can just sort of take yourself out of the space of time, and then you can either speed it up, slow it down, rewind it, whatever, and put yourself back in the universe, right? So the second stage is understanding that you can actually isolate a certain space from time. So in the sense that you can isolate yourself from time and slow yourself down so the world travels faster, or you could basically speed yourself up so then the world travels slower.
Basically, like kind of almost phase yourself out of the real world.
Pretty much. You pretty much take yourself out of time and then you can manipulate yourself or the world, whichever one takes the less amount of energy. Because time manipulation is going to be massively taxing on your energy, right? So you can't just do this for an extended period of time. But at that point, you discover that you can actually influence more than just yourself from time. So if like there's an expired thing like an apple over there, you can literally isolate it and reverse.
Like Doctor Strange.
I guess you could say like Doctor Strange, right? That's sort of basically the second stage. But this is where it gets interesting in the second stage is because not only can you influence a certain thing, you can also influence people. So I had a dream once while discovering this power, someone I knew of was actually like just discovered that they were basically going to die of cancer. Mm-hmm. And like basically in their hospital bed, I asked them if they wanted more time. So then I was able to actually reverse their body back by like a month, which almost killed me.
Okay, so basically you can do like targeted kind of time reversals.
Right. So you can isolate a certain space and then manipulate the time like however you want.
So basically make a bubble around yourself and go back in time or forward in time. Or
Pretty-
you could put on
pretty
someone
much.
else.
You could technically kill someone by speeding up their time.
Basically,
as well.
yeah. So basically, at stage 3 is the absolute mastery of time, where it's not as taxing, and you could literally isolate someone from time and age them 1,000 years, and they turn to dust, if you wanted to. And the reason why this power is so goddamn powerful is because as long as you know what's coming, as in nothing can stop you. As in, if you're able to stop the gunshot from fucking hitting you because you react in time, as in you can never basically...
You can always know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You can see it.
As
and
soon
then
as
go back
something
and do it
bad
again.
happens, you're literally going to stop time, and then you could just rewind it, slow it down, see what's going on. You can never lose.
Or, I mean, you're sleeping and someone just stabs you in the neck. And then
But you
you're dead.
could pause the world's time while you slept.
Yeah, exactly. Like in Rick and Morty, like
But-
you basically just stop the universe and do whatever you want, and then
So
start
you're
again.
telling me it's a passive power that you do while you're not unconscious.
I'd say it takes the energy to stop time, and then it would take energy to restart time.
Okay. So I can still step. Okay. I see
That's
what
sort of where I'm going to go with this, right? But But that's basically along the lines of where my power would be. At least that's the main one. There is two that I have, but this is the main one. I think it's the most overpowered one that you could ever have.
Okay.
That's great.
Right. Problem is, my one is the same one. Because we kind of kept it secret from each other.
Yeah, we didn't want to. We don't want to spoil it.
No spoilers, right?
Yeah.
So unfortunately, my one is also time manipulation.
Does
But
it work differently?
a little bit. Because I'm thinking, let's not go too overpowered, right? So not too overpowered, and possible, I'd say, almost possible.
Possible. We're talking superpowers.
Okay, we're doing
Yeah,
realistic.
I ran it in a little bit.
It could still happen. It could still happen.
Have you guys seen in Dragon Ball Z? There's in the Captain Ginyu Force, the little green thing, and he holds his breath.
Guldo. That's his name.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Get out of here, young golden
He holds his breath and he pauses time.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So that's basically the limitation, is in the longer you can hold your breath, the longer you can pause
It
time.
seems like a more reasonable kind of limitation, I think.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Also, like, going back in time seems kind of dangerous, to be honest.
Has anyone ever seen
really-
Heroes?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I watched season 1 and maybe 2.
I felt like Heroes started off really well, and the middle was great, had some really good ideas, and I feel like the end was just very underwhelming of season 1. And I think season 2 still had some good ideas here and there, but I think they just sort of started falling in a few potholes there. One thing I really did like was when the time traveling character in that one, Hiro Nakamura, he went back in time and sort of met his hero that he'd heard all the stories about. You know, he learned about Kensei, and he discovered that he was literally just some drunken white dude who couldn't actually really fight at all, and he ended up creating the legend of the guy that he looked up to. He literally was the hero when he went back in time and created the legend.
So his time travel was like the whole "it was always going to happen" thing.
Yeah, that's how time works in that particular universe, or at least it contradicts sort of later in Heroes. But one of the most interesting parts about that was that he actually discovered that his hero, the white dude, was actually someone who had a power as well. He had the regeneration power, right? Okay. And he discovered that when he went back to the modern time, he discovered that this guy still lives. And he's actually one of the antagonists.
Right. He's
actually still alive because of his regeneration. He hasn't aged. And he's gone through like 400 years, and now he's like doing whatever the hell he wants. So I thought those were some really good ideas. But yeah, I also, the only reason my time power didn't go down ability to travel through time, because I didn't want to have to deal with specifying a particular kind of universe in which can you change time, can you not. I like it how if you were going to do a travel back in time, I like the universe where whatever you do is what creates the future you live in now.
Right, yeah.
That's the kind that I like. As in, no matter what you do, you end up creating the events that you live in.
But that doesn't work in the Prince of Persia version.
It doesn't, but that's why I don't deal with that one. I prefer the manipulation rather than travel. I mean,
so you can't.
So you're not really about the going back.
No, you can only rewind.
Rewind. Oh, what?
Like Prince of Persia, so only like a few seconds.
Yeah, or a month or a year. As in,
But
you can only
changes
rewind.
That's still going backwards, right? I mean,
it is going backwards, but
like even if you went back to when you were like a child or whatever. Like, it's still some things are going to change because you remember things and you're going to do them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can if you want to.
But how's that not just going back in time?
Well, that is. But I'm talking about not being able to just jump back 500 years and do whatever the hell you want at the same age you are now.
You're only going to mess with, like, short-term time.
Yeah, your lifetime. You can only mess with your sort of lifetime as it is.
So it's still messing with it, but not on a
technically you could travel further forward in time than you could, because you could freeze yourself and the world can travel without you. And then you could literally jump back into the universe, basically, and then you could be somewhere fucking far in the future. But then again, you could still only rewind up to the point of your own existence. As in, you couldn't just rewind it all the way back to before you were born.
That's cool.
That's at least how my one works. Oh, my main majority one. I probably don't have time to go into my second one, because that would take even longer.
What if you go forward in time and then suddenly you won't be able to because you're dead?
Well, then it ends and it's over and
and then...
Oh, yeah, and you're fucked then. I wouldn't take that step. That's the discipline with the responsibility of your powers.
Yep.
So if you had flight and both of us had time, what would you actually be doing with the time, and why? Like, what would you do with this
I'll
power?
steal all the money. I mean,
oh my God.
Go rob the bank, go buy all the stuff I want, and cool. So basically just
the personal influence of your life.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
So what would you do with your flight?
Mine is pretty, like, beyond flying, there's not much I can do.
Just the glamour of having wings.
I literally just, like, want to fly. That's, like, the number one thing I ever want. But I don't really know if it's superpower. Like, I have another one.
I mean, if
my second one deals partly with that.
If Angel is a superhero, then I think that's...
That's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, like, it's not, like... it doesn't really let me do anything other than being able to fly. So I'd be like, oh, I can like scout
I
ahead.
could take it further than just flight if I
How
wanted
about
to.
like the power
And
of some certain bird? So you have like awesome vision and stuff as well.
Yeah,
That
that'd
could
be
help
cool.
too.
Yeah.
That still deals along with the lines of my second one. Anyway,
I don't know. I never thought about it because I was like, look, I'm a girl with simple needs. That's all I want. But it's very like, it's not very useful. Like, I'm not stronger or anything.
I won't say that. Who knows? Who knows what you could actually do with those wings? For all you know, you could curl the wings up and use that to grab fucking people if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Proportional strength of a bird.
Oh,
So-
true.
Hmm.
The ghost.
No, it's Melon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it knows how to open my door.
Oh my god.
Clever little bastard.
The dog visits us.
Guest appearance by the family dog.
Can she come sit on my lap?
You won't sit on mine.
Yay!
Surely, I mean, it's pretty friendly.
Likes
Okay.
her more than me. Anyway,
Well, yeah. Can I go through my second power? It's a bit
Alright,
more interesting.
let's go.
I want to go through mine, but
Okay.
alright.
My second one is like power over illusions, which sounds pretty like.
Master of illusion.
But
Illusions.
I kind of like to think of it as I can do like physical illusions, so people see things that aren't really there,
Yep.
but also mental ones, so I can make people feel things that aren't real.
Oh, so you can
Okay.
influence
So,
people.
If
okay.
someone is like just walking down the street, I can make them think that they're in pain.
Like a
or
empath, right?
okay.
Empath?
yeah, I
What's the
guess
word?
so.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Fuck, that's
It
pretty
like
powerful.
I'm not gonna be able to explain this eloquently, but essentially I could just be completely indestructible because I will always just have an illusion of me there, and you'll never know where I actually am.
Yes.
Right.
So.
Yes, that's actually.
And
really
technically,
clever.
I can do anything because it's not
Yeah.
me; it's an illusion. But I can make all the people around me
And
think
if
that it's
that
someone
you can
wants
do
to
something
attack
incredible.
you just make them think like, no, that's good.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
make them think
Just
that we're all
walk
good,
away.
that there's no
It's all
problem
good,
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Go ahead, these are not the droids you're looking for.
weird. Not so much like mind control as just them. Like if they were going to attack me, I'd make them think I was over there. Or
Right,
some
so
shit.
it's like you got like illusion powers, but you've also got like the mind manipulation controls as well.
But
Yeah.
can you read people's minds?
I was actually
No.
that was my next question.
No?
Okay, so
Probably not.
No.
But I would
'Cause
say
they
like.
probably go like down a pretty slippery slope.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I don't want to get too complicated here. It's more just like you send illusions. It's just like, brains can do weird things and think things that aren't real. That kind of
Oh,
deal. But I think if I were in like a combat zone or whatever, I would never be in the danger. I'd be off watching from elsewhere.
Could your
But I would
True.
have an illusion of myself there.
But can
so
you
people
see
wouldn't
through the
realise.
illusion's eyes?
That'd be
That'd be
cool. I don't
nice.
know. I might have to like.
Right.
could your illusions actually do any physical damage to anybody?
Well, if I like, I thought about this. If someone thinks that they're in enough pain, or they think that their body is like doing something, I think your brain has enough power over you that could kill you.
Yes, yes.
So technically, I
Is
could
it-
do damage.
It was like when you die, like in a dream, you can actually slip into a coma. So the brain's power is it can do something like that. I think like if you combo your illusions with your control that you can influence on them, you can actually make them believe that they are seriously under attack and not just under the effects of some illusion that you could just walk.
Or just like overload their brain with information or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say we're talking about hearing people's thoughts, and you can just refer back to Heroes and the problems that he deals with. He hears fucking everybody, and he can't turn it off. As in, it could be a really annoying power to have.
Yeah.
I thought that's a really good one. My second one is also really overpowered. It comes in 3 stages.
Alright.
Basically, it's the ability to shapeshift.
Okay.
So you can shapeshift into any animal or any person or you're choosing. So this is
Pencil.
basically. I'm not really going to go down. I'm not really.
Pickle.
I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm Pickle Rick. Alright, I'm not really going to go down like inanimate objects because I don't. How the hell would your conscious work in an inanimate object? And I'm not talking in a cartoon. Alright, so
that's true. When
just
you
going to
always
talk
go-
about living organisms you can shapeshift into.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're thinking the inanimate object about your consciousness and stuff, if you morph into like a really stupid animal, would you be stupid as well?
Yeah.
Well,
What happens to your brain when you morph?
I was going to say that the further part of this power would explain why I probably couldn't do something like that. So basically, you could transform into anything you want. This would allow you to transform into a bird, and you could fly. You could transform into a tiger and run really fast. You get the best of almost every kind of general power that you get, right? Much like in the time manipulation, if you slow down the world, it would appear as if you have super speed. So you
Right.
sort of get the best
Yeah.
of a simpler
So
power,
it
you get
looks
more.
like you have all
So
these powers.
basically,
Right.
animals.
Basically, but that's the first stage. That's the first. Second stage is
stages.
realizing that you're not just changing your shape; you're actually rewriting the DNA program that defines what you are as a life structure, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically able to rewrite your DNA to say that you are a tiger, that you are this.
So you can just like rearrange your atoms. And
Exactly, right? So at this point, you realize that you can do more than just rearrange your entire form. You could change your arm or
Specific
just your eyes. And at that point, you could even change the inner workings of your muscle structures. So basically, you could buff your entire body, and by rewriting small parts of the DNA program to make yourself a lot more stronger.
So you could just get
and
like
faster.
the speed of a certain animal,
Yeah.
or like the vision of one,
That's
or just
it.
grow wings out your back.
Pretty much, yeah.
Amazing.
Is this now your favorite one? Whatever you want. Yeah.
So yeah, that's like one of the most legitimate, like, overpowered abilities that I could think of, because yeah, it could basically buff you to become your generally stronger than human kind of person, and you could still legitimately just transform into any person or anything. As in, if you want to be invisible, you could turn yourself into an ant and hide in the corner, then nobody would fucking ever
Same
find you.
deal, yeah.
Exactly. So you get the best of so many different kind of abilities.
Get a proportional amount of strength of the ant, like Ant-Man.
Oh!
Fuck. I didn't
Like
actually.
lifting
I didn't
houses
actually
up.
go that far, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's the thing, yeah. Once you get to that level of mastery, as in, like, you could literally do anything. It's one of the most overpowered abilities that I could possibly think of. If that's the way that shapeshifting works, it's how it's worked in my sort of psyche. That there's kind of, if you had this kind of superpower, this is what you would legitimately doing, is rewriting your DNA program, and that's where you could extend it from there.
Could you like join a hive mind of insects and then command them?
Fuck. I don't think I could have any influence over any other creature.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you could turn yourself into a tiger, and you might get suitors of a female kind, but I don't know if you'd really be able to understand them. I don't think you'd gain their speech pattern or anything like that. In fact, I don't even know if you could talk if you were in the
probably
shape.
learn, right? If
You could probably learn, but I'm sure your voice box and everything.
Spend
You'd
a
probably
few years
you'd probably
just
just
living
fucking
with
roar in a very awkward manner, trying to say words or something. I don't even know if you'd be able to pull it off.
Oh, because you would have a voice box that could do
Yeah.
like human words.
Like whenever I've had a dream based on shapeshifting, I just didn't speak. Like I would scratch.
Very
I would
logical
scratch in the dirt, like words, or like you would literally hop up on a keyboard and type onto the fucking on the screen. Like that's how I would communicate. Because like there was one part in one of my dreams where you were injected with something that prevented you from using your ability. So I was basically trapped in the form of a white tiger, and I couldn't do anything but be the white tiger.
Right.
So basically you're sitting around like just fucking, just every day, like with the group of everyone else who's hiding away from these people.
Oh,
And it's just like you had trouble communicating because you just couldn't talk to anyone. You had to like type it all down and shit.
How about if you're morphing into these other animals, and they have their own life cycle, so like you can only live for a certain amount of time. So, I mean, does it
cut into
Does that
your
Yeah,
life?
exactly.
Yeah, so I never really thought that far, but I did try and think of what would happen if you had injuries and you shapeshifted. Like, I don't think you could just heal your injuries because DNA doesn't deal with just your injuries.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you were to, if you had a cut on your shoulder and you changed into a bird, like your cut would still be in the, basically where a bird's basically the shoulder
So
equivalent.
it would be like proproportional. So if you
Yeah.
got cut as like an
So-
elephant, it wouldn't be like when you turn back into a
Maybe,
human.
yeah, something like that. But yeah.
Pretty much like Pickle Rick. he gets his side shot up, and then he's got the
Yeah.
wound when he.
I guess you could say something along those lines, yeah. But yeah, those are my two major ones that I have trouble deciding between. One is just overpowered and not necessarily interesting. I think if I had time manipulation, I would probably just use it to like join the UFC or something, and you would literally be able to just beat anyone because you could just slow down time a little bit.
And you
that's
see all their punches, right?
Because when it comes to fighting, strength matters very little compared to speed. If you can move faster than your opponent, you win.
Yeah.
That's all it comes down to in a sword fight, in a fist fight, anything. So if you're faster than your opponent because you control time, then you can never lose. So you could basically join the UFC, beat the crap out of everyone, and
Become
no
rich.
one will know whether, become rich and do whatever you want. And I would try and probably use it in a good way, wherever I could see an opportunity to reverse or prevent something from happening that's bad, or at least I would consider bad. But yeah, I probably wouldn't be too much far away from along the lines of how you would be using your power.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably just steal a whole bunch of stuff for no reason, and
I don't know if I'd steal, but I would definitely be using it to benefit my personal life. As in, like, you do
Sure.
something or you
Yeah,
say
yeah.
something because you know there's no consequence, you can just take it back. So then you literally
No,
just do whatever you
my
want
power
and just take it
Oh,
doesn't
back.
like
go
keep
backwards.
trying over and over again until you get it right.
It's like
Groundhog
Stargate.
Day.
It's like being
but that's
Stargate
just
stuck
like
in the loop.
Groundhog Day,
Yeah.
right? With Bill Murray.
You just keep
'cause
trying until you get it
he's-
perfect. So
he's
you can
cool.
literally just get every second of your life perfect.
Yeah, so someone with OCD or someone who literally can't handle their decisions would never get out of this loop. I
Yeah.
think I would care
Honestly,
less.
I mean,
But like, it depends. I would
Like
probably
once you start, it'll be really hard.
to stop yourself from
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah, so I think like if I could undo events, I would probably just like do something crazy knowing I could not suffer the consequence, rewind it, and then do whatever else. I don't think I'd be very meticulous about making sure everything I say and do is like as perfect or as good as I could get it. I don't think I would care enough about that.
So just use it to try and have a good time.
Pretty much, yeah. You could do whatever the hell you want, take it all back, and then just, and then just go carry on. You have all the time in the world, since you could just freeze time and do whatever else. I mean, you're probably like, if you freeze time and do whatever you want for a couple of days, you are a couple of days older, unless you want to rewind your body back as well, which is probably going to be even more taxing. But like, yeah.
You know, my second power. We'll finish it off after this.
Yeah, we'll close it up soon.
But I'd just be a magician of some sort. Like, just...
That's the thing, like, with
Do
magic.
things.
What are the limits?
That's the thing, there's no limits. Like, with magic, is like, imagination is your limit, and you could really be as creative as you want. You could invoke anything.
It's just the idea of being a magician sounds so cool.
It's like being a magician means you could do the illusion powers as well as on top of like many other things as well.
And turn into a bird.
And you can do shapeshifting. Yeah? Like magic is like the overall,
Exactly.
the overall thing. Damn it!
No time manipulation, magic.
Magic, you got all of it. You got all of it. That's
Just
okay.
anything that relies on imagination. I'm like, dude.
Is there any like limitations though? Is it like, do you have to use a wand or staff to invoke
No.
and cast that magic?
Whatever
Nothing.
you
No
think
limitations.
Oh, okay.
becomes
Anything.
reality.
Unchained now. We just so I could just unleash it. Alright.
Alright.
So that'll do for that one. Are we moving on to the next one?
Alright. So thanks for listening to this episode of the Fat
Potato
Podcast. I'm still not used to saying that.
No, it's alright.
Alright,
If you
thanks
had
for
any
listening.
superpower. Alright. Thanks for joining us, folks.